Yeravdekar ma'am. Ma'am is the Principal Director of Symbiosis Society and Pro-Chancellor of Symbiosis International University. Symbiosis
Yeah, honestly, you should not introduce at least the hosts. And a guest also, because if you've invited a guest of this repute, then students should know who he is. Thank you very much for not introducing me. I've been here a couple of times, and I'm sure students know me. The faculty knows me, and Anand is a good friend, so he knows me. So there doesn't need to have any introduction. Nevertheless, let me first thank my dear friend Anand for having accepted this invitation. One, of course, because he's an extremely busy person. I'm sure those of you who have been in Pune for some time would see, like you see symbiosis around you, you see persistent around you. So wherever you go, in every nook and corner, wherever there is a symbiosis, there is a persistent. In fact, wherever there is no symbiosis, still there is a persistent, or there are many persistent buildings. And what I like most, and I've never said this to you, Anand, earlier, I like the names of the buildings that you give, and they're beautiful, Rig Veda, and everything from our Upanishads and Vedas. So it's very nice to see that an Indian-born and educated entrepreneur from this very city has done so well, not just for himself, but I think for more than, I don't know whether I'm right, but more than 30,000 employees or more who work for you, not just in India, but abroad as well. I'm not here to praise him. Being a good friend, I know him so well. But again, the second quality that I like of him is his humility. In fact, he hardly attends any public functions. I had to really persuade him to be here, just so that he knows more about what symbiosis is and the numerous institutions that we have. And this very specific institution, which is such a niche institution, an institution with a strong focus on research, an institution which is very different from other business schools across India and, of course, other business schools of symbiosis. And I'm so glad that he could accept our invitation and be here today to talk to all of you. And as I just mentioned to him, that I hope it's not just a monologue, but a dialogue between students. And feel free to ask questions, because he is an entrepreneur, a successful businessman, and a person from this city who has made a name for himself and for his organization. A lot has been said about SIMSARC, but my only request to you young students is that I know you all are doing MBA, and for you the focus is just studies and extracurricular activities and eventually getting a job, a good pay package in one of the blue chip companies. But don't forget that, every company that you join in would appreciate and respect you for the kind of work that you have done, and this work should include research as well. Especially the master's level students, you need to have a very different focus on academics, and this focus on academics should be bent towards your focus on research as well. Because even when you are in a corporate life, people will respect you for something new that you have done or some innovation that you bring to the table, and not just do the run-of-the-mill jobs. All of us appreciate employees who bring something new to the table, and when you want to bring something new to the table, you need to have a curious mind. You need to have a mind that will always innovate, and this quality you could inculcate during your student days to try and see if you can, do something or, dwell into knowledge that has never been taught to you or never been discussed with you, but something new that you've brought, through a publication. It need not be a Scopus Index publication, but certainly a publication in your own journal, because that will help you to build this very innovative mind. When I studied medicine at our master's level, we had to do a thesis, and research was compulsory, though nobody asked us what kind of papers we published or which journals we published, but just to inculcate that spirit of curiousness, of questioning, because even as medical doctors, we needed that mindset, right, when we practiced medicine. So this is one quality that all of you must inculcate. The other good quality that you all have, I must say this, is great flexibility and adaptability, because you come from a background of defense forces, and that makes you adaptable to any kind of life that the corporate world will give you, whether it's working for a company which is at BKC, or maybe working for a corporate that makes you sell something in the remote villages. What the corporate world has always told us is that SIM students are one of the best when they enter the corporate world, because they're very malleable, adaptable, flexible, and willing to take on things that would look as hardships to others. So that's an excellent quality that all of you have, and I'm sure the corporate world appreciates this quality in you. So I won't take much time, because we're here to listen to Anand and also interact with him. So thank you, Anand, once again for being here, and thank you very much for a patient listening. God bless.
Thank you, ma'am, for the words of encouragement.
It is a great honor to welcome Dr. Anand Deshpande, sir, a visionary technologist, entrepreneur, and academician, as a chief guest for our research conference. Dr. Deshpande, sir, is the founder, chairman, and managing director of Persistent Systems, a global IT powerhouse that he established in 1990. With a strong foundation in academia, Sir earned his B.Tech in Computer Science and Engineering from the prestigious IIT Kharagpur, where he was recognized as a distinguished alumnus, and completed his MS and PhD in Computer Science at Indiana University, USA, receiving the Career Achievement Award from his alma mater. Sir's career is a testament to his extraordinary foresight and leadership. From beginning his professional journey at HP Labs to leading Persistent Systems to global recognition, he has been a pioneer in innovation, entrepreneurship, and technological advancement.
Dr. Deshpande sir's contributions extend beyond the corporate world. As a founding trustee of the Persistent Foundation, a mentor to entrepreneurs through the Diezra Foundation, and a member of various esteemed academic and governmental bodies, including the Unique Identification Authority of India. His influences touches diverse domains. His accolades, including the prestigious EY Entrepreneur of the Year Award in 2023, highlighting his relentless pursuit of excellence and his commitment to fostering innovation and societal impact. Today, as he focuses on initiatives in data, higher education, and entrepreneurship, Dr. Deshpande sir continues to inspire countless individuals and organizations. We are privileged to have him here today, and we look forward to his invaluable insights and words of inspiration as we celebrate research and innovation. We request our Honorable Pro-Chancellor, Dr. Vidya Ma'am, to kindly felicitate our chief guest. We now request Dr. Deshpande sir to address the audience.
Okay, Honorable Pro-Vice Chancellor Dr. Vidya Yerodekar, Vice Chancellor Professor Ramkrishnan Raman, Brigadier Dr. Rajiv Divekar, Dean Faculty of Management, Director SIMS, Dr. Praveen Kumar Bhoyar, Deputy Director SIMS, faculty and students. I know we are amongst very bright students here, but can I have the lights on a little bit more? It's much easier to see you if we have to talk to you than seeing just suits, because we can't see your faces from your suits. Can we get the lights up a little bit? Throw a light out there?
Yes, sir.
Full light, eh? Oh, sorry. Well, we'll do the best we can. So thank you, Vidya, for inviting me here. We are part of a mutual admiration society, as you know. So thank you for inviting me and for the kind words. Of course, you are an inspiration for all of us. And Simbi, especially with her father, who she calls Dada, and I call my father Dada as well. So we have, many things that we have in common, having worked with our fathers before. And thank you for inviting me. Today, I'm going to talk predominantly to the large number of MBA students that we have in this audience. And before I share a little bit about what you ought to do or what you need to think about, I want to set the context for you. So let me first start by stating that most of you amongst the students here, I would imagine, are born after 2000 in this millennium. Is that correct? So since you are born after 2000, I can say with some confidence that most of you here will live past 100, and many of you will live 420 years. Okay? So you will live past 2100, okay? And maybe even till 2125 or so, right? Now, if you're going to live that long, one thing you must remember is that you'll have to work for many years. So you are going to be working at least till 2085, maybe 2090. Okay, just think through this. You are in 2024, graduating 2025, maybe. Another 50 years minimum, maybe 60 more years. Okay, you're going to live that long, you have to work that long. So you'll work till 2085 or thereabouts. Okay. The other thing to note is that in India right now, we have, as they say, 1.4 billion people. And at every age in India, there are at least 25 million people of every age in India below the age of 35. So there are lots of people like you in the country. Sorry to say this, but this is just demographics. The second point I want to make is that the rapid change in technology that we have seen in the last few years is going to continue for many more years to come. And what are the consequences of this exponential technology growth? I must point out that, and Vidya is a bit about similar age, so we did not grow up with internet or the cell phone when we were growing up. We saw my first computer when I went to college, internet when I was in the university in the US, and cell phone much later than that. I know all of you have been born in a household where you already had a computer, a cell phone, and an internet connection. So you have always lived with those things. And if you look back, it's sort of hard to imagine what is coming, but if you look back 10 years back, 20 years back, Google didn't exist 25 years back. I got my cell phone about 25 years back. So in the last 10 years, you would have seen amazing changes. And if you looked at the last 2 years, ChatGPT and other things that have happened with generative AI have completely changed the course of what we see at this moment, and this is set to go. I want to point out the importance of exponentiality. The interesting thing to note is that 2 to the power n is actually greater than the sum of everything up to 2 to the power n. So 2 to the power 0, 1, plus 2, plus 3, all the way to 2 to the power n minus 1 is actually less than 2 to the power n. So this exponentiality of anything has tremendous impact in everything that we do. And one example I'm sure you would have heard is that a wise man asked the king for a great deed that he had done for a grain of rice and said that, okay, double it at every square on the chessboard. By the end of 64, or even much before that, the king had run out of all the grains of rice. So we are sitting in an exponential age. Changes are going to come at amazing pace. In the technology area, we quote the Moore's law, which basically says that the chip density will double every 18 months. And this has gone on for the last 60 years. And in the next few years, it may not exactly be chip density, but there will be other things. AI has really transformed the world as we see it. So what are the consequences of this? The most important consequence of this is that whatever you are learning now is not going to last for too long. It's going to get irrelevant very quickly. And unless you stay current with what's happening, life is going to be very difficult. So that's the second thing in terms of setting the context. The third thing I want to mention is that India is the happening place for the next few years. You are born at the right time, at the right place, in a sense. Unfortunately, a lot of times you don't know that. But trust me on this one. India in the next few years is going to be the most happening place for all of you. As you know, we are already at about $3.5 trillion in terms of our economy, putting us in the top 5 largest countries of the world. Very soon, we'll be in the top 3, no doubt about it. Even in the next 3 years, I would think we will be ahead of both Germany and Japan. The next 2 are not going to be that easy. We are way behind both China and the US. And this is where this is what is an opportunity and a challenge for all of you. When we were growing up, India was always, most people who were doing something usually ran away from here. But I'm very sure in the next 10, 15 years, the changes that we will see in India, and you will be a big part of this change. So that's really why I'm here, because I think, talking to people who are going to make a difference, who are going to make the change for us to get to that number 1 or 2 is going to be very critical. So with this context, what did I share? One is that you're going to live long, you're going to have to work long. Okay? Your first job can't be your end job. Within your work span of nearly 60 years, you might have to do many different things. All of you will get fired from your job at least 5 times in your lifetime. And you will keep changing things all through the 60, 70 years that you're going to work together. And technology is going to change things for you on a very regular basis. Unless you stay current, you will not make it. And finally, India is the place to be. So this is the context part. Now, under this context, what should you do? Right? That's the key thing. So you are here in an amazing place. You are at the right place at the right time, as I said. So what should you do? So let me give you 5 things that I'm going to leave you with, so that when you chart your life ahead, you will be able to sort of think through these 5 things as you go along. So the first thing I want to mention is that it's very important for you to dream. Okay? Nothing happens unless you sort of believe that it can be done. And if you are dreaming, why dream short, right? You might as well dream big. So I encourage you to really think big about what you see yourselves, where do you see yourselves in the future, and how you can make a difference to yourself, the world, your family, and everything else. So dream and dream big, okay? Now, I believe that you cannot, no dreams are real dreams unless they are written down, right? So write your dreams down. So if I said, okay, you're going to work till 2085, go dream for what's going to happen in 2085. You have no clue. Nobody knows. How will you dream when you don't even know what's going to happen? Technology is going to change. Everything is going to change. Life is going to change all the time. So you have to evolve your dreams. You can't be just static on your dreams. You have to start with something maybe 4, 5, 10 years ahead. And as you get there, you keep evolving them. But unless you are still ahead of the game, you wouldn't know where to go. And you will see this is very effective when you write things down. And I'll tell you my story, right? So when I was thinking about when I came back, I had big dreams. We were thinking about whatever. India at that point, India's software industry was about $30 million, right? Today, it's $250 billion. So we have seen exponential growth in the IT industry during my time that I've been part of Persistent in the last 34 years. So if you asked me, oh, we are $1 billion plus company now. If you asked me in 1990, did we think about $1 billion? Of course not. Nobody could have thought about it. The entire industry was $30 million. So you think big, but you think big and you think incrementally and you keep growing with that, right? Everyone says that you are told me that, oh, you are at the right place at the right time and all that. Yes, I was at the right place at the right time. But the reason I was able to grab opportunities was because I was thinking ahead. Not thinking about where I am today. When you are thinking about where you are today, you are only consumed by it. You have to think ahead, and that's really important. So I highly encourage you to have we call this, I run these courses and I encourage people to build what we call the painted picture. So you build a painted picture. It's not a text file. It's not just about a spreadsheet, but put a picture on the wall. And every year, review that picture. So this is December is a good time to do these kinds of things. So put up your picture for now we are starting 25, so 2029, maybe 5 years out. And keep revising it every year. And you will find that it is amazingly empowering because now you know where you got to go. And when you see opportunities, you grab them because you have thought through them. Okay? So this was number 1. Right? The number 2 idea that I'm going to share with you is the importance of continuous learning. I already shared with you that technology is moving rapidly. You are going to have to work till 2085. So whatever you learn today in 2025, nobody knows what is going to come in 2028, 30, 40, whatever. So no college can teach you what is going on today. It's not going to last for that long, right? So so those who are able to learn continuously and evolve continuously are the only ones who will succeed. And one of the important things that you should do in college is to learn how to learn. That is the key skill that you can acquire while you are in college. And let me say this, that each one of you learns very differently. Today in this world, we have opportunity to learn in a multimodal way. You can do this through audio, you can do video, you can do reading, you can do many other things, talk to people, whatever. I find the best way for me to learn is to teach somebody about it. So if I have to learn some new topic, I sort of sign up to talk about it to some group that I need to do, and usually take 6 months or so. And over the 6 months, I build out a story that is a 2-hour story, a 30-minute story, a 3-minute story, and all that. And it really helps me learn because it puts pressure on me to present to someone what I'm going to do a few months ahead. And these kinds of changes really are very important, but each one of us learns very differently. Now, to learn and to learn continuously is really a process. It's not something that just happens out of the blue. So you have to have a process of how you learn. And you must learn tools to do this. Okay? So I find mind maps to be very useful for me. So I have a product that I use called XMind. I encourage you to take a look at it. It's pretty cool. I also use Notion quite a bit for tracking all my activities and what I'm trying to do. I find that to be a pretty nice tool in some sense. And then I'm tracking all kinds of things wherever on different topics. And every weekend I sort of take a look at what I need to do next and where am I in the context of my plans. So it's a process, and you need to learn how to follow a process. And this is the best time to take this chance to learn about this process. The last thing I want to share is the fact that how many of you have seen a dinosaur? Nobody, right? They were extinct many years back. But all of you have seen the cockroach, right? Both the dinosaur and cockroach coexisted many, many years back. The reason that the dinosaur became extinct is because the dinosaurs did not adapt to changing environments. Cockroaches did. So don't try to be a dinosaur, be a cockroach. Learn how to adapt and evolve, because unless you do that, you will get crushed, okay? So this is the second thing that I wanted to share with you. Which was the first one? Dream. The second is continuous learning. Very important. And you must do this all the time. The third thing I want to share is the importance of networking and friends. Okay? So one of the best things that Symbiosis does for you is to bring a network to you. When you walk around anywhere in the world and tell someone that you've been a Symbiosis alumni, it carries a lot of weight and value. And there is a very good chance that you might run into someone who's also a Symbiosis alumni. And that creates a new set of openings and new doors. Right? So networking and getting to know other people is the key to success. And this networking is sort of seen as something that, especially in India, we think that it is like chamchagiri or trying to vashila baji or any of those kinds of things. But the reality is that we stand on the basis of the network that brings us, we are dependent on the network. It's the network that helps us for all kinds of things that we need to do. The first principle about building a network is to give. Unless you give to the network, you cannot take anything from the network. Please understand this. Now, if you want to give to the network, and the easiest way for you to explain this is that if you are on Instagram or Twitter or anywhere else, unless you follow people, nobody will follow you. So it's the same thing, right? The network doesn't give you anything unless you invest in the network. And the first place to start to build a network is those sitting next to you. All of you in class or in college, all of you will end up in amazing places in the next 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. And the fact that you are together here today is going to be a big part of your network. So do not underestimate the value of friends and network, okay? This is really what is going to take you along in this journey. We don't know what is coming ahead of us, but how will we find our way? It's through friends and other people that we do. And learning together can be fun. Playing together is fun. Actually, I can share a little bit of an anecdote here. Sorry, I'm in a college and there are lots of faculty members here. But what happens is that, I've been attending many of these 25-year reunion, 30-year reunions. When you get to a certain age, you get to attend these. And I must say this, and I've observed this, and you should also observe this. Most of the students who come and talk have very rarely talked about any class that they have attended. It's rarely, very rarely. All they talk about is the time that they have wasted together. It's very scary, right? If all we remember after 25 years after college is the time we wasted in college, why are the faculty so hell-bent on putting you into class when you don't remember any of it? Okay? Now, this sounds very awkward, but this is the reality, because it's that white space, there are other activities that you do, the other things that you do, those are what you remember after 20, 25 years. The class, you had a class, you attended this thing, most of it is gone anyway, and move on, right? But the friendships you will make are very critical. And do not underestimate the value of working with each other. Now, one other last thing I would mention to you in this is that while you are young, you must learn how to network. It's a skill that can be acquired. If you don't acquire it early, it will be very hard for you to pick this skill up later. And I know some of you come from the army background, or rather all of you come from the army background. And the army also does a very good job of helping you build a network that comes with it. Your dads, I think, are amazing networkers. They work with all kinds of people and they are able to do this beautifully. So you should take advantage of the fact that you have this great ability and starting point for networking. But do not underestimate the value of the people you know. What you do is important, but who you know is even more important. And in fact, who knows you is even more important than that. So don't underestimate that. So this was number 3 on my list. So first was dream big. Second was continuous learning. Third is importance of networking. The last 4th thing that I want to mention, and I said I'm going to say 5. Okay, so I have to go to 4 and then 5. So number 4 that I mentioned to you, would like to share with you, is the importance of building your own personal value compass. Okay? All of you need to be loyal to yourself and your profession. And like you do in companies, you have your own value statements and core values and mission and all that stuff. You must have your own core values. These are values that you will not compromise under any condition. Okay? And these values, I would encourage you, like your painted picture, should be written down. Okay? They help you in times of despair and difficulty. When you know what you stand for and what you will not compromise. Okay? That is an important thing for you to know. We live in a world where we will see lots of challenges. Lots of different things will happen all around us. When we have clarity on what we stand for, what is our personal compass, that really makes a huge difference. And there are small things that you will find makes the difference between the best and the not so good because of this kind of a thing. And here I would like to share a story that one of my uncles shared with me. And he talks about Mokshagundam Vishveshwaraya. So I'm sure you would have heard of him. He was a Bharat Ratna and a very well-known civil engineer. So he was working on some drawings in a government dak bungalow, whatever. And some relatives came in. And they said, so Vishveshwaraya said, please wait for a few minutes. He completed his task. Then he took the candle from his drawer, another one, lit it, extinguished the one he had, and then he started talking to his relatives. His relatives said, what the hell is going on? Why are you doing this? He said, well, I was working on company time, or rather government time. This was the government candle. Now I'm on personal time. This is my candle, right? So these are the kinds of things that are important, right? I'm not here to take advantage of other things. I have my own value system, and I follow my value system, right? So this is a very important thing, and I think I would highly encourage you to spend some time, write down your value system. Typically, core values don't change very much. And I'm sure you're all adults, you're over 20 now, so all of you can sit together and put your own value systems on your board. You don't have to share it with everyone else, but having your value system written down for you. I'm sort of a big believer in writing things down. If things are not written, they're not real. Okay, so write it down, meaning of course you don't have to write it on a paper, you can put it on your Google Drive, all of that stuff. But the fact that it has been typed in once is kind of very critical. Okay, so this was number 4. And then I should repeat the 1, 2, 3, 4, but I'll do that one more time at the end. Okay, so the last one I say is that you must be persistent. There is no other thing that can help you in your life than being persistent. And there is, so I'm going to give you so if you look at athletes, for example, right, and all of you participate in athletics and various other activities, you will find that those people who have won the race typically would have lost those kinds of races many times in the past. They would look at Michael Phelps, right? He's pretty much the greatest athlete we have seen in Olympics. And if you saw when he was growing up, I'm sure there were many days he felt, hey man, this is not working out, I should quit and move on. The fact that he pressed on made the difference between him and everyone else. And this is something that you don't stop at any point. You have to remain persistent all through your life. And again, here is another story that I will share with you that a friend of mine shared. So this guy called Vikram Sathe, I'm sure you have heard of him. He has a very nice video and all that stuff. So I was explaining to him about persistence. He gave me this story, which I thought which you could relate to. So this is a Sachin Tendulkar story that he shared. Okay, I have never met Sachin. But, of course, everyone of us, all we know that he's the greatest of all time and god of cricket, right? So he talks about this story from the Calcutta Test when they were playing Australia. And I know we are not doing very well against Australia today. But that said, this was when we lost that match because Sachin could not handle a reverse swing ball from Glenn McGrath. Now, Glenn McGrath, Australia, they're not known for reverse swing. But this guy sort of figured it out, and he said he got Sachin bowled. Now, most normal people would say, oh, this is a bad luck, I just missed it, next time it won't happen, and just move on, right? Forget about it, oh, bad dream, just start again, right? But that's not Sachin. What did he do? He collected thousands of balls from all over the stadium in Calcutta, and then the next match was in Chennai. So he went to Chennai, picked up all old balls. The tricky thing about reverse swing is that it should be shining on one side and not on the other side. So not all balls make it. You have to find those kinds of balls. So he found those balls, got lots of people to figure out how to bowl reverse swing, what happens and all that stuff. So he studied it. How does McGrath hold the ball? And if you see his innings in Chennai, which was the next test match where he scored about 126 runs, he did not score an offside stroke. He only kept the ball on one side of the ground. And he scored at a very fast pace. But he was very calculated that I'm not going to get out to McGrath's this particular ball that he bowls at me. I'm going to hold that on. And he was able to do it. Why was he able to do it? Because he was persistent. He kept learning all the time. He did not stop learning. Even the greatest of all times do not just sit on their haunches and say, oh, well, I'm the greatest, right? They are working all the time. That is what makes the difference between the best and the not so best. Okay, so I have shared the 5 ideas that I had to share with you. Let me say them again. The first thing is to dream, believe in yourself, think big, right? The second thing that I shared with you was the importance of continuous learning. Whatever you have learned now, and this is just a tautology, this is the fact, will not last long. By definition, it can't last long. And you have to work for 60, 70 years. There's no way you can learn once and repeat for 70 years. So you have to continuously learn. And the earlier you figure out how to learn effectively, the better off you are. This is the second thing. The third thing I mentioned was the importance of networking. Cherish the time you have with your friends. Enjoy it. And stay in touch with people. That's where you get the networking. And fourth one was to build your own personal value compass. And write this down, have your own value system, because that is what is going to hold you when you have a tough day, right? It's your values that keep you sane and grounded and focused on the future. And the last thing and the most important thing is be persistent, okay? With this, I want to thank you all for listening to me very carefully and patiently. I want to wish you all the very, very best. I know you will do phenomenally well, but think about these 5 things, and they will definitely walk you through where you are heading. And thank you, SIMS and everyone else. I know you have a research conference, and I wasn't sure what I could say. So here's what I had to tell you. Thank you very much. So we have about... So Vidya sort of baited me a little bit. So we will take a few questions.
Here's your opportunity to ask questions. Make full use of it.
Yeah, go ahead. Just try it. I'll repeat the question if necessary. No, you have to survive your life here. Forget about millions of years. Cockroach was just an example because you get the cockroaches. But what I can tell you for a fact is that if you go out from here saying that I've learned everything I have to learn, you will not survive for more than 10 years. A dinosaur is about what did the cockroach do that it helped him survive for millions of years. And the human race has survived because we are learning. Right? That's what makes us different from everyone else. Okay? Yeah? Yeah. Well, if you have, so okay, it's a good question. How do you inculcate value systems in your daily life? Okay, so let me give you 2 steps in that. First, write them down. Okay, if you say there's obvious things, you look around, there's obvious things. We have all trained with good values, right? But most of the times, our values, we have not written them down. That's one very important difference that I'm trying to say. You grow up in families, everyone will tell you that, respect elders, do not tell lies, all these other things, right? Which are all part of the value system. But I'm saying is, okay, write them down. Write about 6 to 8 of them. Okay? Now, once you have them written down, when you go to the traffic signal, right? And say, should I jump or not? Your value system will hurt you. So, how can I do this, man? I am who I am, right? I'm an honorable person. I believe in my values. I believe in what I'm doing. I will never jump a red light. Somebody offers you some cash, you'll never take it. It cannot be done. Not compromisable, right? So this happens because you're thinking about them. And if you do something wrong, it'll bite you. It'll bite you really, really badly. You wouldn't want to do that. So if you have your value system, you think about it and you write it down, and it's not about other people. I'm not talking about rules or, lights and police and all those things. I'm not talking about any of those. These are your values. And all of us as humans will not forgive ourselves for violating our own values. And that's what it is all about. Yeah.
Have you ever come across a situation wherein you are in conflict between choosing your value systems and a decision which is going to benefit a greater audience at large? If yes, how did you steer through it and what would you advise us?
No, it happens all the time, right? There are people who will be tempting you all the time. People will always try to squeeze you here and there. But you have to stand by your values. There's no other way to do it. And companies have their own value systems as well. But so there are 2 things here. Okay, now people will ask me that, do your value systems and the company's value systems conflict? Well, they don't. If they do, then you should not work in that company, for one and very important thing. But typically when you are looking at values for personal value systems, the value systems that you put for yourselves are very different in the sense they're at a different level of abstraction as compared to the value systems that you have for a company. Okay, so that's what happens. But yes, it happens all the time. It happens quite often. Your kids will push you to do things that you shouldn't be doing. Your friends might ask you to do things you may not want to do. So there are times that happens. But if you have thought about what your values are, and you believe that you are an honorable person, you will not violate them. Yeah. The lady and then the gentleman here. Go ahead. Yes? How do I deal with it? See, failures happen all the time. Every day there is something that goes wrong, something that goes right. Everyone's lives you have failures. It's how you come back after a failure, that makes the difference, right? You look at a guy on the boundary line, he drops a catch, it's a failure. If he says, I'm done, how can I go face the world? He'll never play again. but the next match he might score 100 or make the most brilliant catch that can happen, right? So those who can come back and be persistent are the ones who succeed. So failures happen all the time. That's not a big issue. The way my strategy is usually to just disengage, go to sleep, start again the next morning. Simple as that. There's somebody here.
Good morning, good afternoon, sir. My name is Saurabh. So my question is, in the long run, do you think the point which you talked about adaptability, so do you think these AI models will adapt more than the humans?
Yes.
So it will surpass most of the human population, then should we fear about this AI getting most of the jobs done?
So let me give you 3-4 things about AI that you should remember. One is, people with AI will be better than people without AI. Remember this. So who's going to take your job is not going to be AI, but people with AI. So what is your choice? Embrace AI. It's going to be there, but you have to embrace it. So that's very important. Second thing is that we'll have more AI programmers in India than anywhere else in the world, just by numbers, demographics. And I want to share one example with you about AI, and this is in the context of chess. So chess has always been the program for AI to go after. You know, from the 50s, people have been trying to say that can AI beat chess? There's been a question mark for 60 years now. And in the early 90s, there was a very serious attempt made, and IBM played that chess game that they lost. But they came back again, and Deep Blue kind of beat Kasparov, who was a world champion at that point. After that, chess engines have not looked back. Today, any chess engine will beat every human at every single game. The chess ELO ratings for the chess engines are upwards of 3,400, 3,300 and above. Magnus at its best is 2,880. Okay, so humans can be beaten by chess. So mid-2000s, there was this whole discussion that chess, there's nothing left to play in chess. Everyone only play with the engine, and where is there the game to play? But if you saw in the last year in India, for example, chess has really has a complete renaissance in some sense. Everyone plays with the engine, but they also play with each other. Chess has learned how to live with the engine and the AI. And if you look at the kind of games people are playing with, the new chess, so to say, it's a little different from the chess before the engines. So before engines, after engines, things have changed. So just like that, just like people have figured out how to live with chess, with AI in chess, we will have to learn to live with a smarter player, so to say, which is AI. Like chess player in the AI is much smarter than any human. This is what's going to happen, and you have to figure out how to live with it. And this is the reality. Let me know when you want to stop. Let's take 2 questions and then we'll stop. Last 2 chance. Yeah? Sorry.
Good afternoon, sir. So you spoke about how the dream part, like how it's important for us to dream big and how it's important for us to write down our dreams.
Yeah.
So do you think like having one dream for like a lifelong or like a long time dream is like important, or do you think that the dreams can keep changing with the
I just shared
realities of
that,
life?
right? You have to keep changing your dreams. I just mentioned that to you already.
So,
So yes, you should plan 5-year dream right now. Every year, review it and keep upgrading it. And when you write your dreams down, it's not all the details. It's a vector. It's a directional idea where you are trying to go. It's the summit. It's the top of the mountain.
Right.
But when you get to the top of the mountain, you realize that you have to go down to get up to the next top of the mountain. So this is what life is all about. So, but having that painted picture of where you are trying to go will help you take opportunities when you see them.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, last question. Yes, there. Yeah, go ahead.
So you talked about us being born in the right place at the right time, and that India is poised for success right now. So how do we at a micro level make use of these opportunities that are available to us, or what types of new opportunities do you believe will be available to us?
Okay, so let's say this, that India today is 3.5 trillion. We are talking about getting to whatever 7 trillion in the next 5 years, 3 years or so. And then we are talking about 10 and 25 trillion and 30 trillion, some pretty large numbers by 2047. Where is that going to happen, right? All of that is going to create opportunities. Trillions don't happen by doing the same thing. We'll have to do new things. So I don't know what those new things will be. Nobody knows what those new things will be. But you have to be at the place to say, okay, this is the next thing. And these things happen incrementally and they grow over a period of time. The effect of compounding is visible. But every time you have to see those incremental changes. So what I recommend to you is that think about the problems that you see all around you. Those are all opportunities for somebody to fix. So if you see something that doesn't make sense, that's an entrepreneurship opportunity. And let me say one more thing that may be of relevance here as well. You know, we will not have as many jobs as are needed for all of you. That's the fact. Okay, so don't expect that you're going to get a job every few years and you're going to get fired 5 times and every time you're going to find a new job. You may not have jobs, but there is no shortage of work. See the difference, okay? There is no shortage of work. There are shortage of jobs. There is no shortage of work. We are going to get from 3.5 to 10 to 2, 3, 30, 40 trillion, whatever it is. There is going to be no shortage of work for all of you. There won't be jobs. You have to create jobs for yourself and for other people from the work that you see around you. And get used to this. Don't just expect to be dependent on jobs. And I know B schools are very big about saying their first job, highest salary, all that stuff. Trust me, that job is not going to last for too long. Okay? You have to work 60 years. Companies are not going to last that long, man. Where are you going to last 60 years? Right? So you have to find and weigh your journey around. Don't get too hung up on that first job. It's a small step into your 60-year journey. Think about the opportunities, think about the work, and dream and go make it happen. Okay, that's what you need to do. So thank you very much. I think I'm also watching the clock here. So one girl? Okay, let's talk to her. Yes, ma'am. The VC sees you. Sorry, I didn't see you.
Good afternoon, sir. Harshita here. Sir, you mentioned the second step, which is continuous learning.
Yes.
So my question is, 20 years down the line, we would be working in a firm or something. And
perhaps your own firm.
Yeah, that would be great as well. But then what would be the point of motivation for us to learn at that point in our lives?
You should ask this to all of us, right? We are all learning all the time because it's so exciting to learn. You don't learn for something, right? We all learn because it's so much fun to learn, right? Life's not about the next opportunities. We are not always looking for a job for everything, right? So you learn because it's so much fun to learn. There are lots of mountains that you see. A lot of people go climb those mountains. Why do they do it? Because they are there. When there are things to learn, you will want to learn. It's the attitude that you create. I'm going to learn all the time. That could be part of your value compass as well. But I don't think that's a problem. When you get there, if you get very successful, you have your own business at 20 years from now, you will be learning anyway.
Like, what are the factors that can keep us motivated?
I don't think it's a problem. Are you not motivated right now?
No, sir. My question is what we can drive as a factor for motivation.
It's your dreams and aspirations will drive you. So as I said, right, you're setting yourselves what you're going to do over the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years. And that is going to drive your aspirations and motivations. And that's going to force you to learn on your own. When you have nothing to do, then you learn in a different way. But yeah, meaning that's different. But here for you young people, I think you must, it's your dream, your aspirations, your values, that's going to drive you where you want to go. I don't think this is a real problem, actually. Trust me, when you get there, you'll not have this issue. Get to the 20 years and then hopefully all will be good. All right. Should we? Thank you very much for inviting me and wish you all the very best.
Thank you, sir, for your encouraging words. We now present SIMS in-house biannual peer-reviewed ISSN journals named Journal of Applied Management, Jidnyasa, and Student Journal SIMS JMR. Today, we release the 2024 edition of the journals. The journal is published by the editorial team and headed by Dr. Jaya Chitranshi ma'am. We request the dignitaries to join us in the release of the same. Thank you. Now I request Dr. Praveen Kumar Boyar, Deputy Director SIMS, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Distinguished guests, esteemed faculty members, respected students, and all present here. It's an honor to propose the vote of thanks on this occasion of SIMSARC 24, the annual research conference with the inspiring theme, Technology and Beyond, Business Solutions for One World, One Future. At the outset, I extend my gratitude to our chief guest, Dr. Anand Deshpande, for gracing us with your presence and thought-provoking address. Your vision and insights have broadened our perspectives, encouraging us to dream big, make a habit of continuous learning, networking and getting to know others, developing personal core values, and be persistent besides harnessing technology for sustainable and united future. A sincere note of thanks to our Honorable Pro-Chancellor Ma'am, Dr. Vidya Ravdekar, for your commitment to fostering innovation and research. Your efforts in building a global perspective have been pivotal in shaping platforms like SIMSARC. Our heartfelt appreciation goes to our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Sir, Dr. R. Raman, for your insightful guidance and dynamic leadership. Your words today resonate with our mission to drive innovation and make Symbiosis a hub for excellence. A special thanks to our Director, Sir, Brigadier Dr. Rajiv Divekar, whose continuous encouragement and guidance motivate us to achieve greater heights. We are grateful to Dr. Jaya Chitranshi for the ceremonious release of our in-house journals, Jidnyasa and SIMS JMR. These journals show the research excellence and intellectual dedication of our institution. To the conference committee, led by Dr. Komal Chopra, Dr. Praveen Dange, Dr. Smita Mehendale, and Ms. Deepali More, your meticulous planning, tireless efforts, and flawless execution deserve the commendation. A special acknowledgement to the SIMSARC student team for their enthusiasm, hard work, and meticulous attention to detail. We appreciate your invaluable contributions. Finally, to all the researchers, academicians, industry professionals, and participants, thank you for your engagement, insightful contributions, and commitment to making this conference enriching. Your presence and ideas reflect the spirit of collaboration and innovation that SIMSARC stands for. Let us continue to work together to shape a better future which is inclusive, sustainable, and prosperous for all. Thank you once again. Good day.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone. This marks the culmination of the inaugural ceremony of SIMSARC 2024. We extend our deepest gratitude to all those who have contributed to making this momentous event a reality. Let us seize this occasion to cultivate connections, exchange ideas, and lay the groundwork for a future that is sustainable and flourishing. We now request the dignitaries to proceed to the VIP lounge, while the audience is requested to stay back.